Dan writes into Beyond at IGN.com and says, Beyond.
Beyond.
You know. I'm 13 and beat The Last of Us' campaign, which was really awesome, and I found that games are really turning to a point of very deep themes like rape, parentheses, David and Ellie in the restaurant, and survival of the fittest. Do you think that games will eventually be banned in the U.S. because games like The Last of Us are pushing the barriers of content? Not being negative, I totally agreed with your review, Greg.
I reviewed that, but no, games are protected speech under the First Amendment. They cannot be banned.
This always goes back to what I'm always talking about, right? That really we're just playing the waiting game with all the old people getting ready to die.
Mm-hmm.
Once all the people in Congress who are old and didn't grow up with games die, it'll be just like TV and rock and roll and everything else, where the people who grew up with this are going to be like get to points of power and be like, we don't need to argue about this. There's something else killing the children now, and that'll be the thing that's the worst thing in the world.
Yeah.
But right now, like games, like, every day they get more and more accepted, and I'd like we've talked about this before. We want to see games go in all directions of narrative and push all sorts of boundaries.
I want them to get dark as shit. I want them to get. I like light, airy games. So I like plotless games. I like, but I want games to like make me super uncomfortable and
yeah, like a good
challenge
book.
me.
Like a good movie.
Yeah, like Spec Ops: The Line was a great example of that.
Yeah.
And so no, but they're protected speech. The Supreme Court has ruled on that actually. So the only problem is ESRB ratings. Stores will not carry ESRB ratings of AO, which is why a lot of games are curtailed.
Right.
But we don't have these hardcore rating systems or censorship laws like they do in, say, Germany or Australia, where games are regularly banned or heavily edited. So in terms of freedom, in terms of game development, we're actually like near at the top. So I don't think we have to worry about anything here.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Everything's perfect forever.
I don't know. When I look at that, I mean, I've like he said, the David and Ellie thing. I saw that, and it kind of made you a little uncomfortable. I don't know if it's because I have a little baby girl and that I think about her and my wife and stuff like that. But yeah, even looking back at, I think Modern Warfare 2, they had, I think, the airport.
No Russian.
Right.
Yeah, and I was just like, I played that, and I mean, it didn't really bother me, even though like stuff like that is imminent and it happens. But I think for me, I look at it as just a game, and I've taken it as the person that's playing it. It's pretty much up to that person to how they're going to handle it, whether they're going to look at that and go, holy shit, I'm going to go do that same thing I saw in this game, or if they're mature enough. Because I look at it like this with my son. I don't necessarily want him to see that, but you can't hide all this stuff. I mean, it's on television. Television is turning that point. I was looking at one of my favorite shows, Bates Motel, the first episode. I don't want to spoil nothing with nobody, but
you've said spoiler. You've warned them
spoiler. Now. You look at Norman's mom was getting raped in that
really?
episode, and you just look at that stuff. It's there on television now.
Right.
It went from movies to like cable. I guess you could say HBO and all that to now A&E. So
yeah.
I just, like you say, it's protected, and shit's going to continue to happen. It's going to get, you say, darker and darker. So it's just up to that person who's playing it to handle it.
How are you going to handle all this with your kids then?
I think trying to shield them from it I think it's the bad way to go. You just got to explain these things to the kids, and hopefully my kids are smart enough to go, okay, Pops, not going to do that in the future. Thanks for telling us, But I think hiding it is the worst way to go. Just explain. You got to communicate and explain to them what it is and what it means and what's the consequences behind doing shit like that. So hopefully I'm a good father.
You seem like you are.
I'll try to be.
Except for this white t-shirt. Get a Game Over Greggy t-shirt.